Flushed out. On the run. Intercepted!
What is up, everybody? I am Smitty with Sporting with Smitty. And it was another rough day, to say the least. New England falls to 1-5 after another disheartening loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. This time it was on the road, but still it gets worse and worse as the year is going on. And it's pretty simple what the issue is, and that is it's the offense. It is truly almost solely 100% the offense. The offense is horrible. The offense was bad last year, but this year it has been taken to a whole nother level of just utter incompetence, just truly shocking mistakes that you never see a Bill Belichick team make. And that's where we're at right now. I said last week I'm not picking this team to win another game for the rest of the season, and I'm not. Because this offense is terrible. It really is. I know I'm going to be repeating myself a lot, but the offense is such a joke. It's honestly painful to watch. There are times when I honestly dozed off because it just was so boring. There was no kind of just energy within the offense. There were at times, but then what we normally do and what we've been doing the last, I'd say, about 2 years, we shoot ourselves in the foot and we get nothing out of the drive. So I'm going to start with Mac Jones. Mac Jones is not the future of the New England Patriots, and I don't think he ever will be. Period. I've defended him for 2 years now, whenever he has a bad mistake, or I've given him the benefit of the doubt many times. But that's over with. It's honestly over and done with. There is just simply no excuse for some of the decisions he makes. And I'm talking about probably one of the worst throws I've ever seen. It's definitely the worst throw I've ever seen a New England quarterback make in my life. I'm 27 years old. That's definitely the worst throw I've ever seen a New England Patriots quarterback ever make. Worse than Brady made some like what the hell kind of throws, but nothing like that. Jacoby Brissett, he didn't really make those type of throws. Then again, we never really gave him a shot. Jimmy G, when he played for us a few games, he never made those type of boneheaded throws. Even Matt Castle never made those throws. Cam Newton could make those throws because his arm was gone. No disrespect, but that's just how it is. His shoulder injury that he had, his arm was gone, so he really wasn't tasked with making just throwing the ball all game long, other than the Seattle game that year. But going back to it, but that interception was probably one of the worst I've ever seen. Hunter Henry was wide open. Wide the hell open. And he completely overshot him on the throw, and it was right to the safety. I swear the safety must have been like, oh my gosh, this duck, this cupcake. Oh, give it to me. It honestly reminds me of a Brett Favre throw. It kind of reminded me of a Brett Favre throw against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game all those years ago. Just a heave downfield, and then it was just right to the safety or the corner. That's what it reminded me of. It was so bad. And I mean, 24-33, 200 yards, and a pick. He was sacked 3 times, including basically the game-sealing sack in the end zone that gave the Raiders the ball with about a minute and a half to go. The offensive line is a joke. I don't care. None of those guys deserve to be starting in the NFL, let alone sitting on the bench on an NFL sideline. The offensive line is an absolute joke. Go watch a Carolina Panthers game. They have an offensive line. They can give their quarterback, Bryce Young, time to throw the damn ball. They can create lanes for their running back, Chuba Hubbard, to run through. And they're 0-6. What is our excuse? And it goes down to Belichick. It's honestly down to Bill Belichick. Period. And you know what? It's about that time to where we really question, is his time, has the game finally passed him by? It's happened to many great coaches in the past in the NFL. It happened to the great Tom Landry in Dallas, where his defenses just could not stop anybody anymore. And he couldn't replace the legends of the 70s and the early 80s that he had. He just couldn't find suitable replacements for them to compete at a high level and be a Super Bowl contender. I mean, you can honestly say the same thing with Pittsburgh, with Chuck Noll. Just a great coach who's been in the game too long. Too long. And I loved what Teddy Bruschi said. Bruschi, I think, spoke on behalf of a lot of New England fans by saying, listen, ride the season out, play good football, and then just walk away. Perfectly said. And I 110% agree with that statement by Bruschi. He said it. What else do you have to prove? 6 Super Bowls as a head coach. And now everybody's going to say, oh, it was because of Brady. Okay, sure. But those first 3 Super Bowls, take a look at that defense. Take a look at those defenses for those years. It wasn't all Brady. The first Super Bowl title was 100% majority of that team defense. So, and again, I cannot stand the argument, oh, what is Belichick without Brady? Okay, you could say that about literally any coach in NFL history. What was Tom Landry without Roger Staubach? Was he successful without Roger than he was with Roger? What about Bill Cowher? What about Jimmy Johnson? What did Jimmy Johnson do after he left Troy Aikman and the Dallas Big Three? What did he do? I mean, or Bill Walsh. Do we know what Bill Walsh was really like without Joe Montana? It's such a silly and idiotic argument. It is a team sport, period. That is what this game is. That is what the game of football is. It is a team sport. And you can't stand those arguments. And you're not going to, I don't care what you say, to my mind, Bill Belichick is still the greatest coach of all time. If he's not, show me another coach who can ride the coattails of one quarterback and one guy to 6 Super Bowls. Sorry, it's never happened. It's never happened before. It never happened. It never happened in history, and it's not going to happen again. He must have been great at riding coattails, because let me tell you, 6 Super Bowls. Come on. I don't care what anybody says. He is the greatest coach of all time, and the game has passed him by. It happens, but hey, I would love to see what happens in the offseason. I would love to see a total rebuild of the organization from top to bottom, because right now this team cannot compete in 2023. This team could compete in maybe 2003, but it's 2023 now. You have to compete with high-flying offenses. You have to compete with just complete aerial assault from quarterbacks. And right now, we don't have the team to do that. Hell, we can't even compete in our own division. We have 2 of the best quarterbacks, 2 of the top 5, 2 quarterbacks that are in the top 5 at their position right now in the NFL, in our division alone. That's not even counting the other, like the unbelievable talent in the AFC. From Justin Herbert, obviously Patrick Mahomes, just Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. The talent is in the AFC right now is through the roof, and we're in the bottom half of it, if not the very bottom of it. when it comes to offense in the quarterback position. I can't give any negative feelings, or I can't bash our running backs. They're literally doing what they can with what's in front of them. And when you have an offensive line that cannot create holes for you, I mean, Stevenson, he's a very patient runner. You've seen it. He's a guy who waits for his holes to open up. But unfortunately, this year, it's obvious that they have not opened up. Obviously, the play calling doesn't help, because there are times where play calling has been just, you're like, why are you calling that right now? Zeke has shown some flashes. Zeke seems like him and Stevenson are the only two guys that are really playing hard football. They're playing hard. Kendrick Bourne, wildly underused. He had 10 catches today. A great game for him. He's one of my favorite players on this team. There are times when he doesn't show the effort, but other times he looks like he has the potential to be a great receiver in the NFL. And I still think that to this day. He just needs the right system, and right now the Patriots system is not doing it for him. Gesicki made some great catches. Farrell Brown coming out of nowhere. I mean, he only had one catch, but that one catch was a pretty big one, especially after it was the first drive of the second half where he got a big first down. First drive after the horrible interception. Devontae Parker. Now, let me tell you here about this guy. I specifically remember him tweeting something, or responding to a tweet where a fan had said something about the Patriots receiving corps. And he was just like, oh, okay. Where were you tonight? Mac Jones has not made a great throw in almost a month. And the one perfect throw right into the breadbasket, he drops in his hand, and he drops it. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, just horrible. Horrible. I don't get it. And every day it looks like Miami fleeced us by dropping this guy on us. A guy who once was a 1,000-yard receiver and a very talented receiver. But let me tell you, his attitude, nope, I'm good. I'm fine. Just not a good game. Yeah, we scored a touchdown. Yay, we finally scored a touchdown. The fact that we're celebrating the fact that, hey, we scored a touchdown says a lot about where we're at right now. And again, I mean, and going to the defense, I have no disappointing or anger towards the defense. I mean, you can only stop them so many times before you get gassed. And that's what's happening to the defense. They're gassed because the offense is going 3 and out almost every drive and not sustaining drives long term. I mean, it's almost like the defense has got to score touchdowns themselves to keep us in games. And obviously right now with the injuries that New England has, we don't have that ability. So looking at the team stats overall, I mean, towards the end of the game, the second half, obviously we put up some stats as it pertains to getting first downs, but I mean, I think we had 4 first downs in the first, going into barely the third quarter. Halftime, we only had 4 first downs. Handful of plays in opponent's territory, while I think the Raiders had, at halftime, they had 23 total plays in New England territory. I mean, it's just disappointing. And again, playing undisciplined football once again. 10 penalties isn't going to win you games in the NFL, especially when you already have a bad offense and a reeling defense that's basically falling apart. The defense is slowly falling apart, not because of their inability to play, but injuries. Injuries is killing this team. And we already lost Judon, and today on defense we lost Josh Uche. And on offense, we lost Hunter Henry. I don't know the update currently right now, this very moment, on Sunday night going into Monday morning. But, I mean, it's looking really bad right now. And now, the Buffalo game, which if we even come within 20 points of this team, I know they're struggling lately with inconsistencies of their offense, but their defense is ridiculous. Their defense is probably the best, next to San Francisco, the best in football. It's just their offense is struggling to be consistent, and Josh Allen having his turnover issues. But I mean, if we get within 20 points of Buffalo, I will honestly be surprised. And then we have to go down to Miami right after. And honestly, I'm thinking that that's the game where they put up another 70 points on us. They put another 70 points on the board, and that's the game where Kraft is like, all right, I'm done. It's over. It's just, I knew, and I think every other Patriot fan knew, that after Brady left, there's going to be a drop in wins and just overall just a drop. Because, I mean, when you lose the greatest quarterback of all time, you're not going to maintain that same success. We've seen it with Pittsburgh. We saw it with Pittsburgh with Kenny Pickett and when Big Ben retired. I mean, we saw it with Denver when Peyton Manning finally hung him up. You see it with a lot of great quarterbacks in these teams where they retire and there's a drop because that leadership, that ability to come up in big moments and do what they do. And I knew that was going to happen, but the fact that it's been such a steep decline, and it's been a bad one. It's been horrible. The closest thing I can think of with it when it comes to this, such a steep decline so quickly, honestly, I would say the Dolphins after Dan Marino. They had a couple of decent years under Jay Fiedler, and then that's when it completely fell apart. And then they went from coach to coach to coach, quarterback to quarterback to quarterback. I mean, and they still haven't won a playoff game since, I mean, I think either year 1 or 2 after Dan retired. So, I mean, I knew that there's going to be a drop, but this has been just unbelievable. New England needs a rebuild. They need a reset. And it's simple. Give Bill his severance package. Say, listen, this is it. If you want to just tear it up right now for us, or do you want to go out on top, or not by on top, I mean go out at least with a bang, maybe 4 wins, 5 wins, that's okay. But it's over. What I want to see is a complete reset from top to bottom. Belichick retires, retire him. At least give him that respect. Don't fire him. Have him resign. Hire a GM who can bring this team into the 2020s. Because if this team has a top 5 pick in the draft, this pick coming up will be the decider of whether this team continues to sink lower and lower into the abyss of the NFL, or if they can begin a solid rebuild. And there's nothing more to say than that. And everybody's dancing on our graves. Everybody's dancing on our grave right now, enjoying the complete collapse of the New England dynasty, enjoying that New England is at the bottom of the league, as they say, like they were before. I mean, listen, I know I've been spoiled as a fan, 100%. But you know what? I said it a million times before to friends of mine, to my brother. I've seen seasons and enjoyed seasons that you dream about. You know what? If it's time to see some really bad teams, oh well. I've seen unbelievable moments that have brought me so much joy. if it's that time to see some sucking and see some crap shit football in New England, oh well. I would love to see this team come back and win again, but I know right now it's not nowhere close to even thinking about that. So next week, we've got Buffalo. And I know it's at home, but I don't even know what to say about this game. This game might be a big blowout. Honestly. Josh Allen has been and the Buffalo Bills really just toy with us. They were toying with us last year. They were toying with us. It got to the point in the last game in New England last year, I think it was Thursday Night Football, where Buffalo basically didn't even bother playing offense for the final quarter of the game because they knew that our offense was irrelevant and incompetent, and we weren't even going to make a threat, be a threat to come back in that game. It's just, right now, again, looking at the schedule, I don't expect us to win every game. I don't expect us to win any games. I definitely see us losing to Buffalo this weekend. We're probably going to get destroyed on a record, just by record numbers in Miami. The Colts game, I know AR is out, but Gardner Minshew will probably drop 250, 300 on this team. The Giants, they're also 1-5, but again, I don't see us winning that game because what really shows me that this team is really bad is that we make bad teams look great. We make them look good. The Raiders have been struggling to score all year. And today, this game was, I believe, the first time they cracked 20. And looking at their schedule, yes, this game was the first game that they cracked 20 points. And it was the same thing last week with New Orleans, that team, the most points they scored were 20, 21 against Carolina. And I think they had a 4 or 5 quarter stretch where they did not score a touchdown. Boy, they scored against us. Because that's what we do. That's what the New England Patriots are right now. They make bad teams look good. And that tells me that if not the worst, the second worst team in football. I can't honestly say in full confidence that we're worse than the Carolina Panthers. Fully. Not yet anyway. But give it time. Right now, though, I'm looking at a 1-7 hole. Maybe 1-8. I don't know what Washington Commanders team is going to show up in 3 weeks. I don't know. But this team is rough. And right now, I say, time to tank. Time to prepare for the draft. Time to look at the team up and down and see, okay, who really needs to be in New England. So, anyway, I appreciate the recent subscribers, people checking out the channel. Like I've said in previous videos, there's definitely more content to come. There's a lot of ideas that I've been contemplating, bringing together. Just basically wait for that. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Sporting with Smitty. I am also on Twitter. I am also on Instagram. Follow me and comment below. Tell me what changes New England needs to make right now, or at least at the end of the year. What changes need to be made in the organization to kind of put us in the right direction towards having successful seasons again. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Join me next week. or join me this week. I will be doing a weekly report on the Boston Bruins, and soon, when the NBA season starts, the Boston Celtics, doing consistent weekly reports on what I feel is going on with them and how I feel about it. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Next week is going to be another tough one. I don't see us winning, but hey, who knows? Go Pats.